Hello students, welcome back to our channel. So students, in this video we are going to discuss two very important functions in integration, which are gamma and beta function. Let's start with the gamma function first. What is gamma function? Gamma function for any value n is written as this gamma n, which is this integral from 0 to infinity e to the power x to the power n minus 1 dx. So this is the expansion of the gamma function, which is written as this, and it is read as gamma n or gamma of n. So this is the gamma function. For example, if any value is written in place of n, then we have to put that value in this integral in place of n. For example, suppose we have to find the value of gamma 1. So it is like this. We will put 1 in place of n. So this function becomes this, right? And we know that x to the power 1 minus 1 is 0, so it becomes x to the power 0, and x to the power 0 is nothing but 1, so it is 0 to infinity e to the power minus x dx, right? So if we solve this integral of e to the power minus x is e to the power minus x divided by minus 1, and let's put the limit from 0 to infinity, and we will get the value of gamma 1, which is e to the power minus infinity by minus 1 minus e to the power minus 0 by minus 1, right? So let's take minus 1 as common. E to the power minus infinity is 1 by infinity, and e to the power 0 is e to the power minus 0 is 1 by 0, but 1 upon e to the power infinity is nothing but infinity, and 1 upon infinity is 0 minus e to the power 0 is 1. So this answer is 1, and it is a very important result in gamma functions that gamma 1 is 1, right? So this is, in this example we can clearly see how can we use this gamma function to find the gamma function for any value n, and we have to remember this result also, that gamma 1 is 1. Okay. Okay, this is another a very important property in gamma functions. We will prove this property. We have to prove that gamma of n plus 1 is equal to n into gamma of n. How we are going to prove this? Now let's find the value of gamma n plus 1 according to the expansion of gamma functions. So for this we will put n plus 1 instead of n. In place of n we have to put n plus 1, and now 1 gets cancelled out from minus 1, and now this value becomes this. Okay, so clearly we can see that it is a product of two functions, and to find the integral of a product we use the product rule in integration, which is called integration by parts, and in that rule this exponential function will be the second function, and this is algebraic function, so we will take this as first function. What is by parts rule in integration? If you have two functions u and v, and both the functions, both u and v are functions of x, then integral of uv dx is what? Suppose this is your first function and this is your second function. How we choose first and second function? We choose first and second function according to Eilert rule. Eilert rule is what? I stands for inverse trigonometric functions, L stands for logarithmic functions, A stands for arithmetic functions, T stands for trigonometric functions, and E stands for exponential functions, right? So the function which appears first in this order will be our first function, and which appears second in this order will be our second function. For example, exponential function is last, so this is our second function, and x to the power n is arithmetic function, so this is the first function and this is the second function. So we have taken this as first function and we have taken this as second function. So what is the formula? What is the expansion of u into v dx? So first function as it is, then we take the integral of second function minus integral of the derivative of first function into the integral of second function, and this whole integral, okay. So we are going to use this formula here, 0 to infinity first function is x to the power n, right? Second, integral of second function, that means the integral of e to the power minus x minus integral of first function. So this is our first function, we are taking this as u, and this is our second function, we are taking this as v. So integral of the derivative of first function, which is x to the power n, into integral of second function, which is e to the power minus x, and integral of this whole. So we will put a dx here. And what are the limits? Limits are 0 to infinity. Right? Okay. x to the power n and e to the power x. What is the integral of e to the power x? It is minus e to the power minus x. Now let's take this limit on this, which is 0 to infinity, minus take this limit on this also, 0 to infinity. Derivative of x to the power n is nx to the power n minus 1, and integral of e to the power x is e to the power minus x into minus 1. That minus 1 gets multiplied here and it becomes plus 1 into dx. Okay, this is a standard result in limits, and its value is 0. And this n, since it is constant, we can take it outside the integral, and inside it becomes 0 to infinity e to the power minus x, 0 to infinity e to the power minus x into x to the power n minus 1 dx, So what is this? E to the power minus x into x to the power n minus 1. E to the power minus x into x to the power n minus 1, limit 0 to infinity, is nothing but gamma n, right? So this whole is nothing but it is gamma n. So this is 0 and this is n, this is n, and the rest is gamma n. So we can say that gamma n plus 1 is nothing but n into gamma n, right? So this is another important property in gamma functions. Using this property, we can find these two values, but to solve that question we need another important property which we will discuss in that question. But let's solve this one first. Prove that gamma n plus 1 is nothing but n factorial. Okay, what is n factorial? N factorial is n into n minus 1 into n minus 2 into n minus 3 up to 1, right? For example, 5 factorial is what? 5 factorial is 5, then 5 minus 1 4, then 4 minus 1 3, then 2, then 1. So 5 factorial is 5 into 4 20. 20 into 3, 60. 60 into 2, 120. 5 factorial is 120. So that is factorial, right? So we have to prove that gamma n plus 1 is n factorial. So gamma n plus 1 is what? Gamma n plus 1, we have just proved that gamma n plus 1 is n into gamma n. Now we are going to use this property repeatedly and we will arrive at this result. How? Let's see. If we put this n as n minus 1 plus 1, we can write this n as n minus 1 plus 1. So again, if we apply this property on this whole is Rn. Now this whole is n. So gamma of n plus 1, gamma of n plus 1 is n into gamma of n, right? So now if you write this n minus 1 as n minus 2 plus 1 and again take this whole as n and again use this property, we can write it as n into n minus 1 n minus 2 gamma n minus 2. Now we will write this n minus 2 as n minus 3 plus 1 and again that n minus 3 is n and we will again use this property. You can clearly see that this is becoming n factorial. So the next term, yeah, this is trying to become n factorial because the next term is n minus 3 and the next term will be n minus 4 and the last term will be 1. So this is nothing but n factorial. So this is an important result in gamma functions. We can say that gamma of n plus 1 is n factorial. Okay, find the value of this. To find the value of this, we will use another important property of gamma functions. We are not going to prove this property because it is not important to prove this property. You just have to remember that gamma of 1 by 2 is root pi. And now we will use both the properties, this property and this property, to find the value of this. How we are going to find the value of this? First we will write 5 by 2 as 3 by 2 plus 1 and this will now be Rn. So we will use this property and write it as 3 by 2 gamma 3 by 2. Now again we will put this 3 by 2 as 1 by 2 plus 1 and again repeatedly we are using this property and this is 3 by 2 and this is 1 by 2 and again this is gamma 1 by 2 and the value of gamma 1 by 2 is root pi. So this becomes 3 by 4 root pi. Clear? Okay. Now we will discuss another important function in integrals, which is beta function. Beta function is a double variable function and the gamma function is a single variable function because we are using only one variable n in gamma function, but for beta function we need two variables. So beta function is written as beta m comma n because it is for two variables. The expansion of beta function is this: beta m comma n is 0 to 1 x to the power m minus 1 into 1 minus x to the power n minus 1 dx. And this is true only when the value of m and n both, the values of m and n both are greater than 0, right? Okay. There are some important properties of beta function. First property is beta, which is called the symmetric property of the beta function, which means that beta m comma n is equal to beta n comma m. If we change the position of these two variables for which we are defining beta, if we interchange the position of these two variables, then the value of beta function does not change. Now let's prove this property. Now let's prove this property. To prove this property, we will use the substitution technique of integration, in which we are going to put x as 1 minus t, where t is another variable. So first we will find the value of dx. Value of dx will be, if we differentiate both these sides, then the value of dx will be dx equal to 0, because the derivative of 1 is 0, minus derivative of t is dt. So the value of dx is minus dt. The value of dx is minus dt. Okay. When we substitute in integration, we have to change the limits also. What is the lower limit? Because this integral is now going to be an integral in t. First it was an integral in x. So these values 0 to 1 were the values of x. Now if this integral is going to be in a new variable which is t, we need the values of t, not x, right? Okay, so how we are going to change the limits? When x is 0, lower limit is what? 0. When x is 0, if you put 0 here, you are going to get t as 1. And when x is, upper limit is 1, so when x is 1, 1 gets cancelled out, t becomes 0. So this function in t becomes, now the lower limit is 1 and the upper limit is 0. X, in place of x we will put 1 minus t to the power m minus 1 and 1 minus x. In place of x we are again going to put this, open the bracket, and it becomes this, to the power n minus 1, and in place of dx we are going to put minus dt, right? Okay, 1 gets cancelled out, and it becomes minus 0 to 1. Now let's write this term first, t to the power n minus 1 into 1 minus t to the power m minus 1 into dt. Now there is a property in integration which says that if we interchange the limits of the integral, then we have to multiply the integral by minus 1. So if we interchange the limits, this becomes 1 to 0. Okay, this was 1 to 0 initially. This was 1 to 0, not 0 to 1. This was 1 to 0. Now if we interchange the limits from 1 to 0, it becomes 0 to 1, and then we have to multiply it by minus 1. Since a minus is already there, so it becomes plus. So it is t to the power n minus 1 into 1 plus 1 minus t into m minus 1. And there is another property in definite integration which says that if we change the name of the variable, the value of integral remains same. So if we change the name t as x, we are going to change this name of the variable from t to x. So this becomes x to the power n minus 1 and 1 minus x to the power m minus 1 dt. Now this whole is nothing but this is what? This is, we are changing this function. So all these are values of this, which is beta m comma n. So this is what? This is nothing but beta m comma n. This is beta m comma n. This is beta m comma n. And this one is what? Okay, what is the value of beta n comma m? In this integral we have to put, because first value was m, second was n. Now the first value is n, second is m. So in this integral we have to put m as n and n as m. So this is 0 to 1 x to the power n minus 1 x to the power n minus 1 into 1 minus x to the power m minus 1 dx. This is what? This is beta nm, which is nothing but this function, right? So beta nm is this function. So we can say that the beta mn is equal to beta nm. So if we interchange the variables, the value of the function is not going to change, right? Okay. Next. Okay. Now this is a very important property of the beta function, which is the most important property of the beta function, which is simply the relation between the beta function and gamma function. Beta of m comma n is the gamma of m into gamma of n divided by gamma of m plus n. We are not going to prove this property, we just have to remember this property to solve our questions. Beta, this is the relation between beta function and gamma function. For example, suppose it is given that beta of n comma 3 is 1 by 3 and we have to find the value of n. So what is beta of n comma 3? What is beta of n comma 3? Using the property, the relation between beta and gamma, we can write it like this. Right? Okay. So now there was another property which says that gamma of n plus 1 is nothing but n into gamma of n. So we are going to use this property. What is the value of beta n comma 3? It is 1 by 3. So let's put 1 by 3 in place of this, and n 3, and we can write this n plus 3 as n plus 2 plus 1, right? So this becomes our n. This is our n, and 1 by 3 is equal to n 3 divided by, use this property, take n as n plus 2. So that property is n plus 2 beta n plus 2. Now again write this as n plus 1 plus 1, and again use that property. So this becomes 1 by 3 equal to gamma n gamma 3 divided by n plus 2 into n plus 1 gamma n plus 1. Now again use this property on 3 also. So 3 is 2 plus 1, and n plus 1, gamma n plus 1 is n into gamma n. Now the value of gamma n gets cancelled out, this value gets cancelled out, and this can be written as 2 into gamma 2 divided by n plus 2 into n plus 1 into n, right? Now if we again write this gamma 2 as 1 plus 1, this gamma 2 as 1 plus 1, then our n is 1. Right? And gamma 1 is 1. We have already calculated this value, that the gamma 1, value of gamma 1 is 1, right? So now we are left with one by 3 equal to 2 divided by n into n plus 1 into n plus 2. Now cross multiply it, n into n plus 1 into n plus 2 is 6. We can clearly see that these three numbers are consecutive numbers. So what are the three consecutive numbers whose product is 6? So this 6 can be written as 1 into 2 into 3, right? This 6 can be written as 1 into 2 into 3. And comparing LHS and RHS, we can say that the value of n is 1, because if we put n in a LHS, then this is 1, this is 1 plus 1 2, this is 1 plus 2 3, so we will get 1 into 2 into 3. So the value of n is 3. So these were beta and gamma functions and some very important properties of beta and gamma functions. I'll meet you in next lecture. Till then, all the very best.